Well, with that, how do we feel about MLB banning the shift this season? Not allowed to shift anymore. No defensive shifts.
Because we got to make it so traditional. We're traditional pencil pouchers. We don't want anybody to have an edge. We want everybody to go up there and pitch the same way and grab their balls the same way on the mound and put the same amount of pine tar and swing away.
Yep.
Your game is dying.
It is. It is.
Okay? It's unwatchable.
I'm gambling again.
On this episode of Bustin' Chops and Calling Shots, we talk a little college basketball top 25, give you a little tournament look into as if it were to start today. We talk a little college football news. Ed Reed out as the head coach at Bethune Cookman. Bill O'Brien leaving Alabama to head to the Patriots to be their offensive coordinator. And Tennessee gives Heuypel an extension till 2027, gives him a little pay bump too. We talk MLB news. Obviously, Scott Rowland and Fred McGriff making their way to the Hall of Fame. We break down some NFL news for you. We give you a full breakdown of the conference championship games for the weekend, and John gives you some tips in his betting corner.
You want to bet? I don't bet. What do you mean you don't bet? I mean, I don't bet.
You're listening to Bustin' Chops and Callin' Shots.
All right, welcome to the show, everybody. I feel like our new intro should just be you snacking. Seems like that's the pattern on the show anymore. So,
Nah, stress eating. Horrible. We were 6-6, which was bad enough, but not a good day, man. 0-3. Staring 0-4 in the face. Hoping the Pelicans, who had a horrible third quarter.
awful third quarter. I mean, that played well the first and second quarter, and then the third quarter, it's like they forgot to come out of the locker room.
Yeah, I mean, just rough, man. It just a little snake bit right now. Tuesday night we had Vegas give up the goal with 1:10 left to get it tied.
I was hoping Ottawa did that tonight with the Islanders.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not going to get that lucky. And just so we had that, and then the Blues, they come back. They're 4-3. They're on the power play with the empty net. So you got a 6-on-4. Actually, it was 6-on-3 for about 40 seconds. Can't score, but you give up a goal. Tonight, people want to say, well, the Islanders have lost 5 in a row. Why would you take them? A, they were plus money. B, if you had known this, they were 21-5 the last 26 meetings with Ottawa. And 6-1 the last 7 meetings in Ottawa, right? So, yeah. And then you look at college hoops. I had Xavier written down, but they had just beaten UConn by 10 at Xavier. And UConn was top 5 there early in the season. I thought with Hurley back, I just didn't want to take the road team. So I tried to cheat a little bit and took Texas Tech, who had on the money line, who had lost 7 straight conference games. Great program. O'Banner, the kid from Oral Roberts, just a program struggling, but thought they'd get off the schneid on national television. That bites me. And then Chattanooga has a chance to cut it to 1, missed the free throw, and from then on can't make a shot. So 0-3 tonight, 6-9 on the week. So it's been a rough week, but I think, part of me wishes, but it would have never been able to work out like this. Part of me wishes nobody is that nobody was signed up and everybody signed up April 1st, right?
Yeah.
Because, and the reason I say that is because now that we're 0-3, we go from 249 to 246. We advertise 150 games over. Everybody gets ecstatic when the Dodgers or the Yankees win 110 games.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny. Nobody talks about the 50-60 that they lose.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the same thing, guys. And look, I know it hurts. I lost $2,900 tonight. I'm well aware of how much it hurts.
Yeah.
Okay. And, I'm not trying to bury anybody, right? That's why, the text I sent out today is I want to have a conversation about your bankroll, about your money management, because it's important. It's extremely important. because, and I get it. You've probably been used by some kind of service before that's chewed you up and spit you out like a New York City hooker. But that's
Awful
not me.
visual.
But if I'm not for you, then just unsubscribe. My question before you unsubscribe would be, how much are you making a year gambling on sports? Because here's the thing. I love when people say, I'm taking a break. No, you think you can do better on your own. And the reality is if you were picking winners on your own, you wouldn't even be listening to this.
Maybe they just like to listen to our
would have never have went to the website. No, they wouldn't have. Look, I know how gamblers think. I was a loser for 5 years, so I know exactly what everybody's thinking right now, because everybody's thinking the same thing I thought 18, 17, 16, 15, 14 years ago before I mastered. So I know exactly what everybody's thinking. I know how
I
they're
put on
chasing.
a pretty good show, though.
I know nobody gives a damn.
Appreciate that.
I know what they're. Sorry. Just like
we probably have people that listen that aren't gamblers. Not
just
everybody.
like nobody gives a damn when I go 4-0 if I go 2-6 the next day, right? So I know what all of you are thinking. I know what's going through all y'all's minds because it's went through my mind. Well, I can do better on my own, and then 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, I'll hop and I'll follow this person or I'll follow that person.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's important to take it over the full body of work. All right. Because there's going to be bad nights. There's going to be rough weeks. Hell, look, I feel fortunate. I mean, let's say we lose the Pelicans game. To be 6-10, this might sound sick, but I feel fortunate. Because it could be a whole lot worse right now. The sky isn't falling. Okay.
Yep.
And I get how it is. Everybody wants to hop from service to service, from show to show, trying to find the next smart guy. Okay.
Yep.
I'm just telling you, if you want to leave, leave. If you want to make money, answer the phone when I call in the next 4 or 5 days, and let's get you on a plan, and then let me do what I do. Okay. Because there's going to be weeks I lose. There's going to be months I lose that you don't turn a profit. Well, why would I pay that month if you don't turn a profit? Well, do I charge you triple when I'm 30 games over in a month? No,
we don't do that.
Okay. So I get it. Some of you want to vent. You have easy access to me now that everything's coming from my personal phone. If you want to vent. I'm not going to snap back at you. Some guys vented tonight and I was just like, hey, it's rough, man. I know. Peaks and valleys.
Yep.
Right. I'm not trying to discount it. I'm not trying to make it sound better than what it is. I'm not trying to fluff it up and paint this pretty picture. This week blows. Okay. Yep. I'm well aware. Again, just tonight I lost 2,900, 2,974 to be exact. Right. So I understand the pain. I understand what's happening, but you got to take it over the full body of work. And that's why in your mind, it has to be, okay, I got like 2 months left and then the calendar year changes. I need to ride this chubby mofo, Bean and me, for a whole 12 months and then make a decision. Right?
Yeah.
And look, again, there's peaks, there's valleys. I get it. The NFL playoffs, it's more heightened. Maybe you could make the argument. I've pressed so hard at that I've kind of lost my touch a little bit because it's just like a hitter at the plate. I go through slumps. I gave you all the reason why we should have took the Islanders. I gave you all the reasons why we should have took Texas Tech. Chattanooga, I could have been sold either way, but I thought it was a good spot for Chattanooga.
Yeah.
You know what? Tomato. Right?
Yep.
Last night I had 4 plays in the NBA. I gave out one, the Lakers, because I thought LeBum and all his greatness I hear about could beat the Clippers, but no, he lost to them again, and they haven't beaten the Clippers since damn Danny Manning was there in the 80s. He's lost like 13 straight as a Laker or something ridiculous. So I give out the Lakers instead of Pacers plus 2.5, they win outright. Celtics plus 5.5, they cover the number. Knicks plus 3.5, they win outright. Okay, and you might say, oh, it's easy for you to say you had all those winners. Look, I didn't play them either.
Yeah.
I already had 7. I didn't want to give out 10. So I picked one. I said, all right, I'll take the surefire Lakers. Eventually they got to beat them. And I got bit. So It's just not meshing right now. But the good thing is, as long as you can wake up the next day, you always have a chance to make money.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take long, just as much as you struggle, to get hot.
Yeah.
We're 6-10. Let's just say by chance we go 2-0 the next 2 nights and we're 10-10 going into the weekend. As bad as it is, wouldn't you feel pretty good and would be like, oh, I pinch myself. How the hell are we 500 going into the weekend with the NFL playoffs and the biggest day of college basketball on Saturday? So again, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. I get it. You lost money. You feel like, hey, I pay him, so he should win every freaking day. And it's not going to happen. Just like you win 1 out of every 10, I lose 2 or 3 out of every 10. All right?
Yep.
The record's there. The picks are posted online. One day when you're bored on the toilet, go all the way back to April 1st and start counting them up and see if I fudged anything.
Yeah.
All right? So, again, I'm sorry. I know it sucks, but guess what? We get to wake up and do it all over again tomorrow. So, there you go. I'm glad I got that out.
Well, I appreciate
Anybody that needs to vent, please text me and vent. I won't take it personal. I get it. I already know what you're thinking anyway. So,
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, I like to think people listen to this show somewhat for what I talk about, but
Why?
as you said they
if
don't.
if they have visions of jacking off Pat Mahomes, yes, they tune in to listen to you.
Ooh, that's not. God, you always got to go there, don't you? It's awful. All right, yeah. Well, we talk about we don't have a crystal ball, right? You're gonna have bad weeks, I mean, it's gonna happen, right? So, you want to look at over the course of a full year. I mean, what did you say? We were 245 games
246, about to be 245, unless somebody on New Orleans remembers how to shoot a jump shot, which probably they're not.
Yeah. So I mean, you're still talking,
which will make the 5th loss in a row for the Pelicans.
Yeah, so you're talking about 245 games over 500 since April 1st. I mean, I don't think there's anybody else out there that has that type of record. Yeah, we're having a rough
There's
week.
nobody. But it doesn't matter. I understand what the guys are thinking.
Yeah, I get it.
I understand what's going through their head. I get it. I get it. All right? I 100% get it. So, I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at myself. But I also understand their thought process. I'm just trying to explain to them, look, how much did you win before me?
Yeah.
Right? I had a guy I've given him free plays the past 2 days. He was somebody that signed up and he goes, man, I'm glad I don't pay for these. I said, no kidding. You're getting a bargain. Usually I charge triple for the first 20 losers. Like, again,
Yeah.
I've lost over 300 games, guys. I've lost over 300 games. But I've won 607 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, again, before it's all said and done, I've lost. That should be my pitch. Come follow me. I'm going to lose 400 games a year. And I even tell them how many I win.
They were not going to put that on a T-shirt.
No, I want to be honest. I want to be, because I'm not going to try to paint some picture that's not true like all these other jack-offs. That's why I'm successful. I know what the hell I'm doing. There's peaks. There's valleys. There's months where I'm going to be on fire, and there's months I'm going to suck, and then there's weeks that are going to suck like this week and last week.
I still don't think it makes for a good T-shirt. That's all I'm saying.
What? I'm going to lose 400
I'm going to lose 400 games a year.
Yeah, the hat I got that says plus 150, I need to get plus 400. And then when people are like, man, you jumped up 250 games a year. Nope. I'm counting my losses.
Yeah, that's...
You know what I mean?
We're going to have to talk through that strategy a little bit.
It's like anything else, Expired. Expired.
All right, let's jump to some sports news. Let's lighten it up a little bit. Sky's not falling. Everything's going to be all right. On to tomorrow. All right, let's talk a little.
Some nuts. I'm out of cheese.
All right. Well, let's talk a little.
There we go.
You and the snacks. I swear it's never ending. All right, so let's talk a little college basketball top 25. We haven't talked about a lot of college basketball other than breaking down.
You want me to sum up
college
college basketball? It is the most erratic season. I know you're getting frustrated with me, but it's the most
I don't have a
erratic
plan or
season
anything. Try to put a show together
that I've seen in years. There's no clear number one. I don't want to hear anybody tell me about how good Purdue and Houston is. When you say that, I want you to close your eyes and envision Purdue or Houston cutting down the nets. Nobody can picture it, not even alumni from there. So, again, it's the most erratic season. It's going to be an awesome tournament. There you go.
God, we started off hot in college basketball, too. We were rocking and rolling. Yeah, it's been a little weird here lately. And it's going to make for a great tournament. You're right. All right. And speaking of Purdue, number 1 team in the country is Purdue. Number 2, Alabama. Houston at 3.
I like
Tennessee.
Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I like Alabama. Alabama's very aggressive. I have questions about Alabama. Can they shoot good enough?
Well, if you're playing basketball, I sure as hell hope you can shoot.
Well, here's the thing with when I say that, what I mean is they like to muddy the waters up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really aggressive. They play defense. They do a good job of trapping and pressing and getting you into a sprint match. But in the half court, they struggle at times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they struggle at times. So I'll just be interested as it goes on. Look, the SEC's not very good this year. Tennessee's probably their best competition, but I'm just saying it'll be interesting down the stretch. Look, if you want to know how crazy things are, Alabama was a 13.5-point favorite. They're at home playing Mississippi State, who I've watched play 6 times and are a horrible shooting team, and Mississippi State's up 36-29. So there you go. Like I said, college is up on its head.
Yep.
Auburn, a 3.5-point favorite at home, is losing by 15 to Texas A&M at home.
Yeah.
So again, it's just wild right now. Louisville's won 2 games all year. They're beating Boston College. I didn't know Rick Pitino was back.
Yeah, maybe.
You're getting
Snuck in.
frustrated with me. I can see it in your
Nah,
eyes.
I'm letting you rant and do your thing, eat your peanuts, and
I love trail mix.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Houston 3, Tennessee 4, Kansas State 5, Arizona 6, Virginia 7, UCLA is 8. Kansas
UCLA.
Nope.
Cronin, the coach, love him. They got Tiger back. They got Jacquez back.
Mhm.
UCLA can make a deep run, and then Kansas, as long as Bill Self's around. I mean, Kansas is legit.
Struggling a little bit lately, though. Look a little less like our normal Kansas that we're used to. Texas number 10, TCU 11, Iowa State 12. You just talked about Xavier a little bit ago there in 13th. Gonzaga 14th. Auburn.
Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Miller back there where he started. Xavier's sneaky Final Four material.
Yeah.
I really, really like Xavier. TCU with Jamie Dixon. Jamie Dixon may be the most underrated coach in college basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes to Pitt, doesn't get any credit, gets them rolling, comes to TCU, a program that was dead in the water, and they were great last year.
Mm-hmm. They were. They
So
played
really
well.
like what they're doing. Iowa State, look, Iowa State's 15-0 at home.
It's a tough place to play.
Once you get them away from Ames,
Yeah.
they're a much different team. I still think they're good. I just can see them being a 7 or 8 seed in the tournament and all of a sudden floundering, right? Because like I said, they're making a killing at home right now.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk about Auburn at 15, Marquette 16, Baylor 17. Hey, Charleston 18, 21
College of
and
Charleston, listen, I'm going to tell y'all right now, College of Charleston, I don't care who they're playing the first round of the tournament, we're taking them. That's a dangerous team.
1. Mm-hmm.
That's a very dangerous team.
UConn 19, Miami 20, Florida Atlantic in 21, St. Mary's 22, Providence 23, Clemson 24, and rounding out your top 25 is New Mexico. They're having a good year.
Yeah, New Mexico with Little Patino. I like them. I like them a lot. Yeah, I like them.
You want to elaborate on that? Or what do you like about them?
Well, look, Jamal Mashburn Jr. is where it's all at. I mean, when you have a player like that, you can make a deep run. Like, I don't know how good New Mexico is, but I know they got one of the best players in college basketball in Jamal Mashburn Jr. Like, he can go off for 30 anytime. And when you have that in college hoops, that's really hard to deal with. And Pitino's a good coach. So it'll be interesting. Now, right now, Joe Lunardi, his last 4 buys, this was coming into tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Boise State, Maryland, who's a fraud, just so you know.
Tell us how you really feel.
Pittsburgh. Look, Jeff Cable, I thought he was going to get fired. Old Dookie, he's really turned them around. They were able to hold on tonight against Wake Forest. And then Ohio State, they're not any good. But again, Ohio State in every sport has to be mentioned because the world's in love with them.
Yeah, that's true.
Last 4 in, 2 more Duke boys. Arizona State, who I really like, and Northwestern. Good for Chris Collins, man. He was taking a lot of heat. But look, it's hard to win at Northwestern. He had to break that thing down to the footers and build it back up. And last 4 in, Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean, John Calipari, yeesh.
Yeah,
He started making all those TV shows, and Kentucky went.
Yeah, he's having a little bit of a rough go.
Yeah, Penn State's last 4 in, first 4 out. Oklahoma, who I don't have much faith in. Oklahoma State, West Virginia. They'll end up getting in. Bob Huggins will get them in. They look good tonight.
Oh, Huggy Bear.
Yeah, I love Huggins, but again, Texas Tech couldn't throw it in the ocean if they were hanging off the side of the Titanic. And USC, I think USC will find a way in. And then the next 4 out, Nevada, not getting a lot of love. Utah State, I'm not a fan of. Florida, they're too erratic. Wake Forest, I think Wake Forest is sneaky. But the ACC's down this year, right? Duke isn't the same. North Carolina's underachieved.
Yep.
UVA and Clemson have played well. Georgia Tech has struggled. Louisville, they just need to let Pitino come back and say, look, you can keep having hookers in rooms and women on top of tables in your wine bar after hours, whatever it takes. Because look, as soon as they got rid of him and the strippers, Louisville can't get 5 wins in a season.
Yeah, they're having a really bad year.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, let's talk a little college football news. We'll switch gears here a little bit.
Hold on, I wasn't done.
No, okay, go ahead. Sorry, you took a long pause. I guess you were just loading up on more snacks.
Yeah. 1 seeds right now would be Purdue, who I think's a fraud. Alabama, who I think's good. Houston, I can see them getting to the Final Four, but I can't see them winning it. And Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And then your 2 seeds, UCLA, Kansas, both of those extremely dangerous. Kansas State, sneaky.
Yep, they are.
Sneaky.
Playing good basketball right now.
And then Arizona, but you know what? Arizona depresses. I mean, they'll let you down every single year. I mean, I'm serious. They let you down every single year.
Maybe this year they won't. You never know.
Yeah. And then, right now they got them as a 6 seed. They would match up with Gonzaga, a 3 seed in the second round. But you can never count out a Tom Izzo team. They always seem to catch fire right about mid to end February. So,
yep.
Yeah. Now I think I'm done.
You sure?
Well,
think about it long and hard.
They got Duke as a 5.
Yep, he wasn't done.
Look, hey, first round, 8 seed versus 9 seed. Lenardi's got Iowa and New Mexico. How good would that be?
Yeah, be a good game.
And your 5-12 in that bracket would be UConn, Kentucky. I mean, 2 blue bloods.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the 90s when I was growing up, man, that would have been like, woo.
Didn't you have a UConn hat? Pretty sure you had one.
Yeah, I
used to wear all the time.
No, not UConn.
I could have swore. Was it a UConn t-shirt?
Rip Hamilton ripped my heart out when Duke should have won that title.
Yeah.
I was trying to find, they got UVA as a 3 seed. I don't see, I'm looking for North Carolina, but I don't see them. I got to be missing them. I see NC State. Yeah, there you go. See, this is, I'll just tell you right now. So in the West, Lenardi's got Houston as the 1, and the 8-9 game is Carolina-Creighton. If Houston as a 1 has to play Carolina in the second round, you might as well walk in there with all your wife's jewelry and put on North Carolina, because Houston ain't being North Carolina. I know North Carolina's looked horrible. I hate the Tar Heels because I'm a Dookie, but North Carolina would win that game. North Carolina will get hot come tournament. They got too many pieces.
Yeah.
No. Now I'm done.
You sure?
Yeah.
Seems like you had one little nugget left you really wanted to get in there. What is it?
I think Marquette is dangerous with Shaka Smart.
Yeah,
They're extremely athletic and very good on defense.
Yep. I could see that. He's a good coach. Is that it?
And how about a second round matchup?
See, here we go.
A possible second round matchup. Listen, in Des Moines, Iowa, Lenardi's got a possible Kansas State as a 2 versus Missouri as a 10.
Yeah.
That would be a good one.
Missouri. So, Missouri at times this year has played very, very well. They've had a couple games they've dropped that they should have won, but as far as, especially historically, this is one of Mizzou's best years in a while. So,
absolutely.
I mean, they played good basketball. Just, had a couple here lately that they ain't played as well, but it happens. As long as they're playing good basketball going into the tournament, I think they can make a little noise. Like, they're not going to win it all or make it to the Final Four, but I think they could have a good tournament.
Right now, the Big Ten leads the way with 10 teams. ACC only 7.
Yeah.
So,
I love March
Purdue's
Madness.
got Zach Edey, that 7'3" kid. I mean, they're tooth.
Yeah. That's tall, man. All right, you want to talk a little college football news? You still got a little basketball in you.
I just need the Pelicans to find a way to erase this 6-point deficit with 2:27 left and win the game. So, look, here's how bad it is. Not only are we 0-3 waiting on the Pelicans game, my 7-year-old kicked my ass in NBA 2K23 by 13.
Ooh.
And she's 7.
You should have knew that was a bad omen for the day. Yeah.
And she had the Bulls and I had Luka. So, I even tweeted out. I was like, things are so bad with my picking right now, I can't even beat a 7-year-old.
Remember when they used to
Pelicans are done. They're down 8 now.
Yeah, it's over. Remember when we used to have they used to have the college basketball games and we used to do the whole tournament play? Oh, that was great. Good times. All right, let's talk a little college football. Focus. Ed Reed was going to be the new head coach of Bethune Cookman. They have since said they don't want him to be the coach anymore because apparently he put out some videos using some colorful language talking about how bad the facilities were, all the stuff he had to clean up before he could even and they're like, nah, we don't want to. So they had an option to have Ed Reed as their coach. And then
if you're Bethune Cookman,
yeah,
it is a shithole. That's why you hired Ed Reed.
Yeah.
So
just like Jackson State was before they got Dion, like that, you're bringing that guy in there to fix your program and to elevate it.
You're in the historical black college, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean this rude or by any means, but just go visit them. They're not funded well. They don't have good donors. Their facilities are junk. They can't even put players' names on the back of jerseys, as Prime said. Okay? It's not mean. It's not racial, but those schools are crap holes.
Yep.
Right? But they
Sadly,
could be great institutions.
They could be fantastic.
That's why you hired Ed Reed.
Yep.
To clean it up. So why are you complaining now? Because he stated the obvious? Okay, don't hire Ed Reed, who can get you donor money and can get people recruited. Go ahead and hire the next guy. Who's it going to be?
Yeah, somebody we've never heard of before.
Somebody you've never heard of who will sit there and just play the part so he can be a head coach.
Yep.
Swallow your pride, call Ed Reed back, tell him you're sorry, and give the man the job.
Yeah, he won't come
because
back
if
now,
not, Bethune Cookman will be as good as it's always been. It'll blow.
Yeah, they'll get routed by Alabama. All right, next little tidbit. Bill O'Brien leaving Alabama for the Patriots offensive coordinator job.
Mac Jones excited.
Yeah. Could be an interesting move there.
So,
old Billy Boy going to New England.
It'll be the first time we'll get to see how important an offensive coordinator is since they ran their offense with a defensive coordinator and a special teams coach.
Yeah.
So we'll see how important this whole offensive coordinator thing really is.
Yeah, we'll see how different New England looks with someone calling plays who actually
knows what the hell they're doing.
Knows what the hell they're doing. Yeah, let's see. Next one here. Colorado just flipping recruits left and right. Deion's
Wouldn't
working.
you like to have that Bethune Cookman?
Yeah, well, interesting. I've seen some videos out of Colorado, like some different things he's doing with the guys. I mean, it's really, he's trying to get them to be great on the field, but also great off the field. Like,
yeah, he doesn't play. No hats in class. Take your hoodie down. Like, he is not messing around.
Yep, which is good. I mean, I feel like that's what young men in this country need. So kudos to him. Fantastic. Glad to see it. I think Colorado is going to be sneaky good. Like, I think he's going to have them playing good football.
Yeah, the problem is their schedule's brutal, Chop.
It is, but if you can get them playing, I mean, they were getting blown out in every game this year. If you can get them playing competitive, I'm not saying you're going to run the table and win the Pac-12. I'm just saying they're going to play much better football. They're going to look like a completely different team than what we're used to seeing in Colorado, at least for the last several years, which is good. That's what they need. That's what that program needs. All right, we'll jump to the last one here for college football. Heupel has been extended at Tennessee. They're going to give him a little pay bump, $4 million extra a year, makes him the fifth highest paid coach in the SEC. $9 million a year for Heupel. I think he's going to be there at least through 2027 is what I read. Good move for Tennessee. I think Heupel is great.
That'll be his last job. Where else would he go?
Yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere else. But good move locking him up long term. Obviously, he deserved a pay bump after this year. And I think Tennessee's going to make a lot of noise next year. It'll be interesting to see if they can kind of build. Obviously, had some tough breaks this year with some injuries. So it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. I think they're a team who could win a national championship for sure.
They should be ranked 1 or 2. They should be ranked in the top 3 to start the season.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we'll jump to a little baseball news. Just a well-rounded show tonight. You know, whoever the guy is that puts these things together, God, he's good.
Yeah. Thanks, AJ.
Kiss my ass. Jesus. I get no credit for anything I do here. None. All right. Hall of Fame. We have 2 new inductees for baseball. It'll be Scott Rowland and Fred McGriff. Are you eating popcorn now?
So I want to say congratulations to Fred McGriff.
Yeah.
He is well deserving. I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful, but as a gambler, I watch baseball day in and day out.
Yeah.
I remember watching baseball all the way back to when I was 5 years old, and the Atlanta Braves had the baby blue jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
And they were on TBS all the time, so Dale Murphy was like my guy growing up. So I've seen a lot of baseball, right? Like most people watch World Series or, hey, if there's nothing else on TV, I watch baseball every night. Got the ticket, been doing it for the last 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Especially with gambling. You've seen my office. I'll have 4 games going on down here.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Rowland is not a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not.
7-time All-Star.
Scott Rowland's not a Hall of Famer.
Okay. I'm just saying. Giving out the accolades there. For.
Secondly, the Baseball Hall of Fame needs to be froze. And we're not going to let it. One of 2 things has to happen. Either it becomes a national landmark and you let people go tour it when the game was great, and people knew what they were voting on, and you just stop inducting any more members, or do you take it away from these nerdy pencil pouch people?
Yeah, because they're ruining it.
Steroids, Viagra, Roman, snake meat, tranquilizer they put in a bull's ass. I don't really care. If you're going to tell me Scott Rowland deserves to be in the Hall of Fame before Barry Bonds, And I don't even like Barry Bonds.
I don't either, but he's still
or Roger Clemens or Kurt Schilling.
Or Pete Rose.
And I was getting to that one.
Yeah, that was the worst one. How is he not in the Hall?
The atrocity. Hey, we're going to legalize gambling and have it all over banners in the outfield, but we're going to outlaw a guy that bet on his own team. Didn't bet him to lose. They got all the records of everything he bet on. And you're not going to let the all-time hit king in? So baseball is just a disaster.
Yeah.
It's a disaster.
It's getting worse.
Baseball, the Baseball Hall of Fame is the equivalent to a Joe Biden speech or Donald Trump on Twitter. All three are a disaster.
Yeah, it's not good.
All three are a smokestack.
Yeah.
Just a blazing California fire. So I refuse to acknowledge anybody that gets inducted. I mean, I saw Gary Sheffield didn't get inducted. And I'm thinking to myself, Gary Sheffield was a hell of a ball player. I thought he was in. I mean,
it's weird because sometimes you hear those names about people who didn't get in, and you're like, I thought they were already in. What do you mean they're not in?
Yeah. And so, look, again, if you think we want the game to be clean, let's explain something, folks. The game's never been clean. You want to know why? Because the most rigged sport up through the 80s was baseball. See, what Selig and the other knucklehead before him don't want to tell you is the mob ran a lot of it.
Yeah.
Okay?
You're not wrong.
So, baseball, don't give me this purity BS speech, you and your little pencil pouch nerd. Okay? I think all of you blow big bleep.
Yep. You're not wrong.
Because you can't even look at stats.
Yeah.
How Scott Rowland is in, and you don't have Clemens, Bonds, Rose, Schilling. Until those guys get in, I don't want to hear about anybody else. What's going to be next? You're not going to let Altuve in because of the Astro scandal? Is that the next? Is that what's up next?
They probably won't let him in.
Is that where we're going to go next? Manny Ramirez is not in the Hall of Fame.
Crazy.
He single-handedly brought the Red Sox back from an 0-3 hole against the Yankees in the ALCS, for Christ's sake. And he's not in the Hall of Fame? So, I mean, a drink of wine.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, with that, how do we feel about MLB banning the shift this season? Not allowed to shift anymore. No defensive shifts.
Because we got to make it so traditional. We're traditional pencil pouchers. We don't want anybody to have an edge. We want everybody to go up there and pitch the same way and grab their balls the same way on the mound and put the same amount of pine tar and swing away.
Yep.
Your game is dying.
It is. It is.
Okay? It's unwatchable.
Yeah.
People watch baseball to take their families to have a good Friday night.
For fireworks and hot dogs.
For fireworks and
Buck
hot
night.
dogs.
Yeah, $1 hot dogs, $1 nacho night. Hey,
Or
sometimes
if
you
they're
get lucky,
kids
it's
to
even
run the
$1 beer
bases.
night.
Or kids to run the bases.
Yeah,
on
or that
Sundays,
part on
like
Sundays.
Look, your game is dying. The only people that watch it are degenerates like me that gamble every day to make people money.
Yeah.
Other than that, nobody gives a crap.
Yeah.
Your season is too long. The games are too drug out, and you want to control every facet of it.
I don't mind the season length if they just would stop trying to control
here's
everything.
what we're talking about. We're not going to have shifts, so there's no reason to have adjustments. A pitcher has to pitch to at least one batter. So I don't know why we have managers. And then they're talking about getting rid of umpires. Let's get rid of umpires and managers and see how good that makes the game.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Baseball is the most dying sport. Maybe that's why I make more money at it than anybody, because they don't even know how to set lines for this circus.
Yeah.
It's a joke. It is a joke, and it's supposed to be America's pastime. It's horrible. People watch the Masters in golf more than baseball. I digress.
It's pretty good at this point. I like watching the Masters. No, I mean, yeah.
See what happens when I go 0-4? I turn into a piss turd quick.
Yeah. So in AAA, yeah, like you said, they are going to go with an electronic strike zone. So what it'll do is it'll tell the umpire whether it's a ball or a strike, and then they can call it a ball or a strike. So they're just there for show.
Well, look,
Well, remember they
As
tried
a
to do
kid,
the
I was a
pitch clock
diehard
thing,
Braves
and that kind
fan.
of died. Yeah.
as a kid, I was a diehard Braves fan. You would never have seen the greatness of Greg Maddux or Tom Glavine if they didn't get the call an inch and a half off the plate on the outside corner. So again, you're changing the wrong things. How about you shorten the season to start with?
I don't think the season needs to be shortened, though.
Well, a long season, dude.
Nah, just let them all use steroids and let's see how many home runs these bad boys can get. Like, what? Would that or would that not be entertaining?
I'll
right?
be honest with you. If they go back to beer in the clubhouse before the game, cocaine, strippers, and steroids, the game's going to be better. I'm just telling you, it was.
I mean, like,
I'm
at
sorry
this
I'm not
point-
politically correct for y'all, but the game was better. We all watched it in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, at this point, baseball's upset because not enough runs get scored. So let's just legalize the steroids, let the boys go to work. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
I mean, we already legalized gambling. We could have we can have Bryce Harper up there at the plate. I bet you $50K I'm gonna hit this son of a gun right there to fence, you ugly bastard.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's try something different. Ratings are awful. Stadiums are empty. People watch it during the playoffs, but other than that, people aren't tuning in, man. And then you see teams like the Royals, they literally this week traded away all their young talent. They're trying to lose, which is odd because they're trying to build a new stadium, but who's going to play in it?
Well, look, again, and to be honest with you, maybe that's why I do so good in baseball. It's the same teams every day, but the books can't take a big enough hit off of it, so they just kind of set the lines at whatever, and it's easy pickings in baseball.
Yeah.
It really is until you get late in the season where everybody's watching, right?
Yeah, once you get past, like, what? Past the All-Star break, a few weeks.
Once you get into September, it's hard because everybody starts paying attention then.
Yeah.
To the
All right, the last
races.
bit of baseball news. I mean, this is another thing, though. If they want help on how to fix baseball, just give us a call. We'll help you out.
It's got to be better than the winners I've been picking lately. 6-10 this week. In case anybody didn't know, I just want to tell y'all we're 6-10.
Yep. We're all about being, honest.
I'm more
and
transparent.
making
than
sure
all these
everybody,
presidential
transparent.
candidates keeping classified documents everywhere.
Yeah, I forgot the word I was trying to use. Transparent is what I was looking for. Thanks for the assist. Appreciate that. Yeah. And classified documents just showing up everywhere. Might want to check your house. You might have some lying around.
Go to bed. Oh, when I go upstairs and go to bed after this, I find a classified document with some damn winners on it. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, they're showing up everywhere. You might want to check your house. Maybe you got a box laying around somewhere. Seems like everybody does at this point. So,
They're like popcorn.
Yeah. God, you just keep eating. All right. The last bit of baseball news, the Angels will not sell the franchise, so the chance of Shohei Ohtani getting a long-term deal in Anaheim is pretty much all but kaput. Where do we think he goes?
He's going to go to the Athletics because Vegas what? Why are you laughing? Vegas is going to buy the A's and move them there.
Yeah.
And when
is that going to happen?
It needs to happen soon. I want the A's to go to Vegas, and I want the Rays because nobody goes down there and watches baseball. First of all, you're in Florida with baseball indoors. Who the hell goes to the beach to watch baseball indoors?
Yeah, it's true.
Move the Rays to Tennessee. Now, you can't call them the Tennessee Rays because you can call them the Tennessee Legs because all them girls in cowboy boots, Jesus, God almighty.
Oh, good Lord.
Make me sipping on sweet tea too, Paul.
Yeah. There's got to be a Ray and a aquarium or something.
Oh, there's
in
a Ray.
Tennessee. They can just keep it.
Every time they dance with those jean skirts, there's a Ray.
No, let it go.
There's a Ray, and I want away.
So you really think he's going to go to Athletics? Do you think they're going to move to Vegas? I said.
Yeah.
Should be the first question. When?
Yeah, they're going to move to Vegas.
Because he's
Or
not
the
playing
Mets.
for them
I
while
mean,
they're still at the Coliseum. I can
The
tell
Mets
you
will
that.
pay anybody. Or the Dodgers. Mets or Dodgers.
Yeah. I don't think the Athletics have enough money in the couch cushions to pay for Shohei, so.
They move to Vegas, they will.
Yeah.
Look at
Maybe.
how well the Vegas franchises have done financially.
Oh, well, yeah, we talk about, I mean, Vegas is especially for sports, that's like money central.
Yeah, it's the Mecca.
Yeah.
At this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll talk a little NFL news. First one, Jeff Sack. Uh-oh, here we go.
No, go
What
ahead.
you got?
I'll wait. I got big breaking news in the NFL.
Uh-oh.
You might bring it up. You script out these shows and don't tell me, so I'll let you do. I don't want to rain on your parade.
Well, somebody's got to keep this shit show together.
You know,
Jeff
I was under my
Saturday.
calorie goal
Yeah,
until I
same.
went 0 for 4, and now I'm just blowing it.
Yeah, it's fine. You have days like that. We all do.
I'll
I'll
be
have
on
one
the
this
treadmill in 5.5 hours anyway. Sweating out the losses.
Yeah, we'll have a good day tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday.
Lakers
I feel
are
good
minus
about Thursdays.
250.
Is tomorrow
Pound 'em.
Thursday? Tomorrow Wednesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday. No, today's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. Jesus Christ, I need my days together. All right, anyway, NFL news. Focus. Jeff Saturday is going to get a second interview with the Indianapolis Colts. Here we go. The whole world's gone topsy-turvy. I don't know anymore.
Am I supposed to comment on that?
Yeah, why not?
The Indianapolis Colts, again, are like a Joe Biden speech or Donald Trump on Twitter, a California forest fire. I digress.
You're not wrong. This is a funny one from the week. Did you see the Dallas Cowboys absolutely eviscerate their own quarterback on Twitter? It's the most cowboy thing I've ever seen. It was like, I wonder if Jerry himself was doing the tweeting. You think?
Have you
think
seen that new
so.
movie advertised where it's got the two guys and the little girl, and they come in with pitchforks and say one has to be sacrificed to save the world?
I haven't.
I don't know
Apparently
what it's
watched
called,
different
but yeah,
types of
like they
movies.
got to kill somebody in their family to stop like Armageddon or something. It's weird. It's something I would never watch.
Have you watched some dark shit, man?
No, it was on, like, first of all, I'm like, why would you put a kid in that? Anyway, I'm just old school, but
Anywho.
that's what this was like with Dak Prescott. We have to sacrifice a lamb on national TV.
Should I read the tweet really quick before we
But-
elaborate? Yeah. Here's the tweet from the official Dallas
I've already
Cowboys
read a
Twitter
couple
page.
times.
Dak Prescott gave away the ball twice in the narrow loss to the 49ers. In a matchup the Cowboys had a chance to win if they didn't again generate self-inflicted wounds. God. Jesus. Just getting after it. Not pulling any punches. Tell us how you really feel, Dallas.
Well, you know, kudos to the Dallas Cowboys for being completely transparent like I am.
Yeah,
Because they're not lying. Well, you want them to lie?
I don't really want them to
You want
lie,
them to
but
lie?
I mean, do you want to just hang your quarterback out to dry?
I posted it on Twitter and I tagged a bunch of people Sunday night.
Yeah.
And it was funny. Come late Monday, everybody picked up on it. I said, if you're Jerry Jones. go
Oh
back
yeah,
and-
this tweet for you got a lot of play. Congratulations.
Yeah. I said, you got to call up the Ravens and the Packers and try to trade for Lamar and Aaron Rodgers. Or Aaron Rodgers. Now everybody's hopped on the Aaron Rodgers to Dallas. Look, Dallas Cowboy fans will agree with me. There's not a Dallas Cowboy fan walking the face of the planet that thinks Dak Prescott's ever going to hoist the Lombardi. Sorry.
God. Yeah, snacks starting to get to your brain
Yeah.
there, aren't they, buddy?
Dak's not a Super Bowl quarterback, folks.
No.
Never has been, never will be.
Not a chance.
You need a quarter. You know, I heard a bunch of guys on one of the major networks. Oh, he needs more weapons. Really? I mean, he has
God.
CeeDee Lamb, Schultz. I mean, he needs another big play receiver. So what? You want everybody to have two number one receivers on their team? Like that only works out for people like the Bengals, right?
Dude,
Which,
the
did you
Bengals
hear-
offense is
did you-
stacked.
Did you hear the Bills GM Bean? He should be fired just for making his comments.
I
Well,
thought
you
it
know,
was
we weren't
hilarious.
bad enough to be in the position. Huh? Did you see that?
Yeah, I laughed. I thought it was funny. There's a lot of back and forth
Yeah.
going on.
I
well,
wish-
see, Eli Apple started
hold on.
this shit, though.
If I was a reporter in that, I wish to God I was a reporter in that
I would have died
room with
laughing.
Bean. No, I would have stood up and said, well, you didn't have to pay Stephon Diggs. And he would have said, well, if we didn't, we wouldn't have kept him. And I would have said, well, the pick you traded for him turned into Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
So if you did your homework like a true general manager, you'd have plenty of money right now.
You're not wrong. But
All
I
right,
still
so
thought it was funny.
he should be fired. Sean McDermott should be fired. And for this, Buffalo's going, because let me tell you something. I'm still not done with this Tom Brady to Miami thing. Down there checking out private schools to put his kids in. Giselle and the kids aren't leaving Miami in that mansion. If you're Miami and you have the choice of Tua or Brady, do not sit there and tell me you're riding with Tua. He can't make it through all 17 games anyway.
He might be able to. Poor kid.
No, his head's like a magic 8-ball.
Oh, that's messed up. He's going to be
just being
fine.
honest.
Going to come back better than ever.
And then what if the Jets get Aaron Rodgers? If the Jets get Rodgers, don't you
Rodgers
think they're better than Buffalo?
Rodgers is not going to New York. Not going to happen.
They're willing to give up 2 first-round picks for him.
I think he ends up in Tennessee. We talked about this. Or
why?
The one that makes the most sense. I don't think
Tennessee's that close.
The one that makes the most sense is what we talked about. Him going to Dallas makes the most sense.
Yeah.
God, you've killed how many snacks and a whole bottle of wine? Are you okay? You're having a night.
I'm 0-4 and I'm 6-10 for the week. I'm on tilt.
Jesus. Oof. All right. You're raring to go there.
Look, I'm a horrible loser. You know this. That's why you hate vacation.
Insufferable. Yeah, I don't do it anymore.
I mean, your wife loves me,
vacation.
but she hates me when she knows there's a game going.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
I'm a disaster.
Yeah. Well, we still love you. All right, I guess the other piece of news, and obviously we're going to break down the conference games next. Mahomes press conference today.
Well, hold on. Is that all your NFL news?
Yeah, you got something you want to talk about?
Yeah. Diana Rossini. That little smoking hot piece of...
Watch it.
Came out and said that there's a franchise that if they can get all their ducks in a row, would offer Sean Payton not just to be the highest paid coach ever, to be far and away the highest paid coach ever. Like nobody's going to touch it in the next 5-6 years. Just so happens at the same time, I'm excited about this. There's hope. At the same time, Jeff Bezos is trying to sell the Washington Post because for whatever reason, they said it's a conflict of interest if he owns the Post and the Commanders. I mean,
does the
again,
Post write about Washington?
I mean, Washington, look, Washington, D.C. will screw up anything. Just look at Congress.
Yeah.
But they already said new ownership should be in place by March 1st. I think Jeff Bezos has reached out to Sean Payton already and said, I'm buying the team. I'm going to make you the highest paid coach if you sit and wait.
Didn't Snyder say he wouldn't sell to Bezos, though? Or Bezos? What the hell you say his name?
Look, Bezos is offering like $8.2 billion. I mean, what are you holding out for? Stick a gum on top of it?
I'd sell it to whoever the hell wanted it for that much money.
I mean, what are you waiting on?
Yeah. That's a lot of jingle jangle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think Peyton,
Sean Payton,
and Bezos are going to go to Washington?
And on top of it, Washington is going to mortgage the future for Lamar Jackson.
You think?
Lamar Jackson, Sean Payton, Washington wins the division.
Well, yeah, probably. I don't know. Them or Philly. Philly's playing good. It's not going to be Dallas or the Giants. Hey, I did hear an interesting tidbit. I wonder if he's been listening. Old Mitchell Schwartz on Coward talking about the Bills. Maybe you should have kept Dable. And I was like, did he listen to our podcast?
Yeah,
was
Mitchell
he listening?
Schwartz. Answer your email and come on the show so we have somebody to talk about with the Chiefs. Yeah. I know you got a podcast too. I'll give you winners. Not this week. I'm 6-10. But answer your email.
Week. But next week. We feel good about next week. Or the remainder of this week. Yep. But no, I just thought that was an interesting. So we're obviously not the only ones thinking that. I'm not harping on McDermott, but Dable, we've seen in this league, it takes an offensive mind to win. So
look, Brian Dable leaving the Buffalo Bills is the end. They'll be in the mix for the playoffs. They won't sniff a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
until they overhaul the coaching staff and that GM. That's a buffoon.
I thought it was funny. All right, so I'll get to my little tidbit. Mahomes, press conference today, looked good. Little practice, full participant. I really thought he'd sit out today. But it looks like the ankle, at least from what very little we can see, seems like he's feeling decent. So I see that line has gone from Chiefs plus 2.5 to now it's drifted back to even. That thing's all over the place. I should have bought it up to 4 and took the Chiefs. I missed my window.
You can't buy that many points in a. Are you kidding me?
It was 2.5.
It never got to 2.5.
Yeah, it did. Plus 2.5.
No, it got to 2. Never got 2. You can't buy 2 points.
I saw 2.5.
So right now, Philly laying 2.5. 79% of the money is on Philly. 76% of the bets. The Chiefs open 2. It's to +1 now. Bengals 78% of the money. 76% of the tickets. Chiefs 22% of the money. 24% of the tickets. I think the thing that really throws me off on this is the fact that San Francisco's not getting bet more.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably look right now. I would say the play that most people are making, if I just had to guess, would be a Chiefs Niners teaser 7-pointer. I think that's getting played a lot.
No.
Really?
No.
I think it is.
No. Nobody has the Chiefs in anything. That's just you speaking, Homer Simpson.
You wouldn't like the Chiefs +8?
I'm not saying that. You asked me what everybody's playing, and I'm telling you what part of 22% of the money and 24% of the tickets didn't you understand? The percent, the amount, or the word tickets or money? Part.
I did what you did. I tuned that out like you tune me out all the time. It happens.
Oh, my God.
What was it again? Give it to me one more time.
22% of the money is on the Chiefs. 24% of the tickets are on the Chiefs.
Drifted up a little bit because earlier today,
it's late
it was
Wednesday night.
Yeah.
It's late Wednesday night. Let's see come Saturday what the public has done to it. Because these numbers, they really mean nothing right now.
That Chiefs one really has been all over the place, though. Interesting to see where that opened versus where it's drifted to. And then after Mahomes was decent today, it drifted again.
I think it's going to close Chiefs -1.
You really think it's going to flip all the way back into the Chiefs' favor?
I do, because I think the public is going to feel much better when they know Mahomes is a go.
Yeah. I don't know. People love the Bengals. So I will actually, I guess we can just move into breaking down the games. I will get to be on the sidelines for pregame and warm up at Arrowhead for the AFC title game on Sunday.
Oh, Pat finally hooked you up, huh?
No, he didn't.
You finally got all over that thing, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't. No, season ticket thing. And then I get to help hold the American flag for the national anthem. So I'll get to be on the field.
How did you pull that off? You
season
did
ticket.
slob his knob.
Season ticket holder, baby. So I will get to be on the field for an AFC title. I'm stoked.
You and
really
Chelsea
excited.
both?
Yeah, we'll both get to be on the field for pregame warm-ups and then get to hold the flag during the national anthem.
You gave it up to Pat Mahomes, didn't you?
I didn't, but I would have. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't. No, it's just they had like a season ticket holder thing you could sign up and do. So I was like, yeah, AFC title game on the field. Get to watch a little bit of the warm-ups, like tail end of warm-ups. Get to be on the field when the players run out. On the sidelines, not on the field. Like, hey, how you doing? On the sideline. But I'm excited. I think it'll be fun.
All right.
Well, all right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
While you're doing that,
I wore my
I'll be
my
fielding.
Shirt? You like this?
I'll be fielding texts about how horrible my record is this week.
I wore the Fear the Reaper shirt. They made these, Charlie Hustle, it's a company here in Kansas City, made these after that nice Patrick Mahomes 13-second drive. That was one of the coldest things I've heard a coach has said to a player, though. Read to Mahomes, when it's grim, go be the Grim Reaper. That was nice. You ain't even paying attention to me anymore, are you?
I was responding to one of our winners that texted me.
No. You need a minute. Awkward silences are always fun. All right, let's kick into the first game. We'll talk about this a little bit while John figures out his phone. Him and technology, not exactly best friends. First game of the day is going to be Niners at Eagles. Like John said, it looks like Eagles favored by 2.5. Man, it's going to be an interesting game. I look at that Niners defense, but I also look at Philly's defense. So coming into this game, points per game, San Fran scoring 26.5, giving up 17.5. And you flip over to the Eagles, scoring 28.1 points a game, only giving up 7. Total yards for the Niners, 377 a game to 404 for the Eagles. And then you look defensively. So yards allowed, San Fran giving up 319.5 yards a game, 229 pass yards, 90 rushing. So they're good against the rush. And you flip over to the Eagles, only giving up 253 yards a game. Pretty even, 135 pass yards, 118 rushing yards. They play the pass well. They play the run fairly well. This is going to be a very, very interesting game. Philly, tough place to play. Old Brock Purdy's going to get a little trial by fire here because that is a hostile environment. We talk about Philly fans. They're crazy. If we have any Philly listeners, sorry to say that, but your fans are nuts. So this will be an interesting one. I think you're going to see that Eagles offense, I think, can score against San Fran. I'm not saying this is going to be a shootout game, but Purdy's going to have to put up some points. Like San Fran's going to have to score a little bit because I don't think they're ultimately going to hold the Eagles down like they did the Cowboys, right? The Eagles are going to get in the end zone. So that San Fran defense, they're going to have a much taller task this week than they did last week. So looking at it from an offensive perspective for the 49ers, they're going to have to be able to get in the end zone. I'm not saying it's going to be a full-blown shootout, but field goals ain't going to cut it. So I'm interested to watch this one. I think we really did get the two best matchups in these conference championship games, looking at the 49ers, Eagles, Bengals, Chiefs. I really think we got the best 4 teams that we could have gotten here. And I'm excited for this one. John Boy, how you feel?
I feel like crap. We're 6-10, 0-4 tonight.
Yeah, you keep saying it. It don't make it any better. Maybe we just leave it alone and come back tomorrow.
These teams met in Philly last year. San Francisco got the 17-11 win. Obviously, Sirianni was new. San Francisco had Garoppolo then.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think this game really comes down to 2 things.
Yep.
And I think it's as simple as these 2 things. Who can establish the run better, the Niners with McCaffrey or the Eagles with their plethora of running backs they seem to just keep finding?
Yeah, they got a few of them, don't they?
And what defense can turn the ball over, right?
Yeah.
Because San Francisco has not turned the ball over. The only time Philly has ever gotten in trouble this year is when they turn the ball over. So, like, I know everybody got used to San Francisco scoring 41, Philly scoring 38 last week against the Giants. This game, I'm not saying I'm betting the under, but don't be surprised if this is the over-under is 46.5. Don't be surprised if this is 24-20, something stupid, 26-21. Somewhere around that number, right? I just think you're going to get much more of a low-scoring game. I would be really shocked if the Eagles came out and tried to stretch the field on San Francisco. Because I am of the belief if you get down 2 scores in this game, it's going to be really, really hard to get back in it.
Yeah, I could see that.
Especially if you're San Francisco.
Yeah, San Fran cannot get down 2 scores. I think if the Eagles got down 2 scores, they could probably find their way back just because you do have that quick strike offense. But if San Fran gets down 2, they're in big trouble.
As much as Jalen Hurts has been an MVP candidate, we haven't saw him in this situation either, right or wrong.
Right. We haven't.
So you don't know, can either one of these quarterbacks will you back to the win, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to be interested to see how big of a difference the crowd makes early on. I think your first quarter is going to be, I don't know what the prop bet is for the total points for the first quarter, But I think the first quarter I would definitely go under because I can see both teams really trying to establish the run and understanding the game's not going to be won or lost in the first quarter. Like, because I think both teams understand the game it sounds crazy because most games do come down to this, but especially when you have two great defenses, because both of these defenses got just studs all over the field.
Mm-hmm. They do.
Like, the Pro Bowl roster could be made up of just 49ers and Eagles on defense, and then add Micah Parsons. Right? So, I think that's going to be interesting. I'll be interested to see, can San Francisco do enough to where they can still keep Purdy to where he only has to make 5 to 6 throws.
Yeah.
If he has to make 12 throws, 10 throws, I don't know, because we haven't seen it.
Yeah, we don't know.
Same thing with Jalen Hurts. He didn't have to run around last week. So if 49ers put pressure and hit him early, does he still look like the MVP guy if they get to him early? And then if for some reason he was to get hurt, God forbid, because again, we don't know how good the shoulder is, Gardner Minshew versus Brock Purdy, that's a whole nother debacle.
Yeah. I don't know. Gardner's got a little fight in him.
Yeah.
So what's your heart tell you on this game? You lean in one way or the other? Are you still not sure?
I got 3 plays for this weekend. And I feel great about all of them.
Okay. That's good. We need those. That's a good thing.
Thanks, Captain Obvious. You want to get a commercial? Jesus.
Yeah, just, speaking it into existence. All right. Is that all you have on the 49ers Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't want to get too in depth. I really want to see where look.
I just hope nobody gets batteries thrown at them. Really, is the thing. In this
Look,
one.
here's the thing: the public has did very well during the NFL playoffs, which explains why I haven't. Okay,
yep. Which is not usually the case. Normally, it goes the other way.
Mark this down. This is the one out of every 7-8 years the public wins. And I've said this. I said this last week, and it didn't come to fruition, but it will this week. I'll be shocked if the public wins this week and wins the Super Bowl. Well, Super Bowl, you typically have a 50-50 split. But I'll be really...
There's only 2 teams, so I'd be 50-50.
I'll be really surprised. Well, sometimes it gets... Patriots-Giants was loaded one way.
Bring that one up.
Steelers-Cardinals, when I had the Cardinals +5, it closed like 89% Steelers.
Yep.
So, I'll be interested to see if the line moves, or if it doesn't move, but if the handle moves. I'm not even worried about the line. The lines in both of these games are irrelevant.
Yeah,
they really are. You're picking all right, 2.5, 1.5. You're picking the winner of both of these games. That's what you're doing.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm not concerned with the line because I don't think the line's going to move like it typically would. I'm concerned, where's the money going? Because, again, the books aren't going to lose this weekend. I know I said that last weekend and I was wrong, but the public is not going to go 3-0 all 3 weeks of the playoffs. It just ain't going to happen, folks.
Yeah.
If it does, it'll be the first time in the last decade I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Okay? Which, figure. It's the one time I try to move off the dirty dozen and expand to help people. It'll be the first year I do that is when I'll get shoved right up my backside. But right now I do have a lean both ways, and I have a 10-point teaser plan. I feel great about all 3 of them.
All right. Well, we'll jump to the late game on Sunday. I'm excited.
Let me ask you this: which game you think is going to be better to watch? I think they're both going to be great and be decided in the fourth quarter. And I know you're a Chiefs homer, but which one do you think could be the most dramatic?
Ooh. Man, that's a tough question. A bit of a toss-up because I could see both of these games being pretty dramatic. just because of the matchups. I mean, you look at Philly's defense, you look at two really young quarterbacks, and you flip over to Bengals Chiefs. You got Mahomes, who's won it all. You got Burrow, who's on the rise. Burrow's got a lot of toys too. I can see that game getting into like it has.
He's got more toys than Adam and Eve.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of quarterbacks that would kill for that many toys. I saw.
Did
what was
you
it?
see
Marcus?
Kuiper's first mock draft today?
No,
He's
I
got
didn't.
them drafting Kincaid, the tight end out of Utah. If they get him on top of everything
Yeah.
else,
Well, here's the thing with
Might as well.
Cincinnati, right? All those youngsters are playing on rookie deals, rookie contracts. Eventually, you're gonna have to start paying people.
all right, Bean.
No, I'm just saying. Eventually, you will. I did think it was funny. Marcus Spears was yesterday. I was watching. I love Marcus Spears. He's hilarious. And he was talking about, can you imagine Patrick Mahomes with those? What? Patrick Mahomes throw for like 7,000 yards. Telling you, man, it's a lot of weapons. But eventually, Cincinnati's gonna have to. You're gonna have to make some decisions on who you're gonna pay and who you're gonna, who you're gonna.
I don't think they do because I think Burrow's going to take a friendly deal. I think him and Chase both are.
Yeah, we'll see.
And
We'll see
if
when
they
it comes down to
do,
it.
look out, the league's in trouble.
Yeah, I think drama wise, I would probably just lean Burrow versus Mahomes. I think it's going to be a bit of a shootout.
Okay.
What about
San
you?
Francisco, Philly, give me your final score.
Um,
I obviously can't give mine, but give the listeners your final score.
I'd say 28-24 Eagles.
Okay.
I think it comes.
Think they put up 4 touchdowns on San Francisco's defense?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. I think in that environment, you got to think. Now, if they were in San Francisco, do I think they put up those type of numbers? But man, Philly's going to be rowdy.
Let me ask you this. Aren't you a tad bit worried? I mean, the Giants beat the Vikings.
Yeah.
And now we see how much of a fraud the Vikings may have been. They played in a weak division. And then you see what the Eagles did to the Giants. Don't you think people are just overreacting just a little bit about the Eagles' greatness? I mean, their schedule wasn't even hard to begin with.
It wasn't. I think when you look at a defense that's given up 7 points a game, their offense scored a lot of points. I think they're good.
But who'd you play? I mean,
Yeah.
I saw Dallas roll them in Dallas, going up and down the field.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's closer than that. Maybe it's 24-20. Maybe it's somewhere in that. I think the Eagles get it done at home. And that's not a knock on San Fran. I think their defense is good. It's not even a knock on Purdy. That's going to be a really, really tough environment to go into and win. And sometimes environment matters. Like going in and playing that rowdy crowd, Philly, we know their fans are crazy. That means something. It does. So I think the Eagles get it done at home.
All right. And go ahead and tell me about WKFJ or whatever that old show is, Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah. So what do you have as the line? You said Chiefs +1. I'm showing even on ESPN, but yours is going to be more accurate than mine.
Yeah, well, ESPN's is never right. I mean, it's
Yep.
just like those guys making their picks never right.
Yeah, I think.
Hey, if I'm not good, hey, look, I'm 3 glasses of wine in. If I'm not good for you, go follow ESPN, see how much they put in your bank account.
That's true. Well, look at this one. So, Bengals at Chiefs. John showing +1. Mahomes, obviously, that has been the question mark ever since the end of the game on Saturday. How healthy will he be? He looked pretty good today in the videos we saw. He was a full participant at practice, which I'll be honest, I did not expect. I expected him to be, maybe do the walkthrough. The fact that he was a full participant probably leans you towards the ankles doing a little bit better than anybody thought. I think that's been the news out, is that he feels much better than he thought. And it's much less severe than the ankle sprain he had a couple years ago. He's not going to be 100%. Like, as good as he looks in videos, and he's not. Anybody's ever sprained an ankle, takes a little bit. Do I think you can get him 95% Mahomes? Maybe. We've looked at the
Do you
games.
think 95% Mahomes can beat 100% Joe Burrow?
Yes.
All right. If
I
you
do.
were an Indianapolis Colts fan and not a Chiefs homer that's going to be on the field
No.
holding the flag in one hand and holding Mahomes'
Easy.
crotch by
Watch
the other
it.
hand.
No, look here. Mahomes is still the best quarterback in football. Like I think it's weird that we're having the and it's look in sports it's always the conversation. Who's the next greatest, right? Who's the best? Every year it changes. Mahomes is still the best quarterback in football. He's better than Joe Burrow right now. Now, can Joe Burrow be better than him one day?
Do you have
Maybe.
the conviction to say that to Joe Burrow's face as he's smoking a stogie with them cool shades?
100%. Sorry.
I don't know. Pat Mahomes never even sniffed a winning season at Texas Tech. I saw Burrow light up Clemson
Yeah.
and cruise to a national championship game.
Yeah, and I've seen the first 5 years of Mahomes. It's been pretty impressive. I think this game is going to come down to the fourth quarter. I think both these quarterbacks are good. It's going to come down, I think, partially into who can run the football better. It's going to be very, very cold. Chance of snow here on Sunday evening.
Yeah, because that affected Cincinnati so much up there in Buffalo.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it affects them at Arrowhead. I think you're going to have to run the football. I think in the playoffs, especially, there's going to, like for the Chiefs, they're going to have to run the ball and manage the clock a little bit. Look, it worked really well for them last week. They ran the football very effectively, almost 150 yards on the ground. If they can copy that game plan, I think they have a really, really good chance. I do think, look, the Bengals have beat the Chiefs 3 times. They beat them once in Arrowhead. I don't see them coming in and beating them twice at Arrowhead in the AFC title game. Like, I know you give me a lot of shit. You call me a homer or whatever. I love Patrick Mahomes. I don't think they come in there and win it. And I think...
So you think you guys, the ones holding the flags, are the ones that make the difference, not the fact that Mahomes is going to outdo Burrow.
No, does it have an effect? Yeah, absolutely. I think the crowd has an effect. I think home field advantage is a thing. And I think that...
I don't think it is with Joe Burrow. I think he's got ice in his veins.
Yeah, and I know you want to marry the guy. What I'm saying, though, is let's talk about football. I think you put Mahomes at home. I think the way this week has rolled out, right? Everybody's on the Bengals. Everybody's on the Bengals. Chiefs have no shot of winning this game. Bengals are going to walk to the Super Bowl. I think...
Who said they have no shot?
Have you watched ESPN or Fox Sports or any show? It's all about the Bengals. Everybody's on Burrow's jock. Everybody. That's great. But I don't think you really want to underestimate Patrick Mahomes. I just don't. Why? Why give him something? He's already so good.
Because you already said it. He can't move laterally.
I didn't say he couldn't move laterally.
Well, I mean, they were talking about on that major network.
How much wine you had, buddy? How many fingers am I holding up? You all right? Them eyes are
more.
One's going this way, one's going that way.
You're holding up more fingers than games I won this week.
Don't I know it?
I mean, they were pointing out how he walked off the stage and went left foot first instead of his right foot.
Yeah, well, then you saw the video of him running and he cut to the left and took up the field. So, who knows, man? You got to plan on that right foot.
Maybe he's favored.
Maybe. But you look at him, so an ankle injury a couple years ago, he stood in the pocket for the 2 games after that. One game was 440-some yards and 4 touchdowns. The other was 380-some yards and 4 touchdowns, no picks. So didn't seem like hanging out in the pocket throwing the football is really a problem for him. Look, I just think the Chiefs have never been in this situation where they're the underdog at home in these games, right? So you're making them the underdog. Everybody's talking, it's all Bengals, all Bengals, all Bengals. Could the Bengals win this game? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and say they can't. They're a very, very dangerous football team. But you're giving the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that can already score points at will. You're giving them more momentum. You're giving them more fuel for that fire. Is that really how you want to roll the week? I just think Mahomes comes in. I think he comes in pissed off. I think he comes in like he has something to prove. And I think the Chiefs get it done at home. I do. I could be wrong. And I think if the Chiefs win this game, they win the Super Bowl. I think this is their toughest game left.
You think Cincinnati's tougher than Philly or San Francisco?
Yeah, I think this is the toughest game they have left. I think if they can get past Cincinnati,
this is the
they
best
win it.
quarterback they got to go through, but those two defenses are way better than Cincinnati's D.
You Mahomes versus Hurts or Mahomes versus Purdy, you're really taking Purdy or Hurts?
Purdy good.
Hey, Purdy darn
So,
good, ain't he?
The last 3 times they've played, it's been by field goal. Do you think it's the same way this time? No matter who wins, do you see field goal?
Nah, I see 4 7 points.
Yeah, because 4 is so much more than 3.
No, I don't think it comes down to a late. Are you asking me? Do I think it comes down to a late fourth quarter field goal that wins the game? No, I don't.
Because if it does, the Chiefs are in trouble with Butker.
I don't know. He looked pretty darn good last week. Hit one from 50.
I think the Bengals got the better kicker. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, I think the Bengals have the better kicker. I'll give you that.
All right, thank you.
I'll give
And the
you
Bengals got the better running back.
I don't know. Pacheco pretty filthy.
He's not better than Joe Mixon. And
Maybe if they used him more, we could see, but we don't really know because the Chiefs don't like to run the football.
the Chiefs, if they don't run the football this weekend, they'll lose.
I said that on the last episode. If they do not run the football, they lose.
Chiefs got the better tight end with Kelsey, obviously.
Best
Bengals got the better receivers.
by far.
Now, offensive line, if Kappa and what's his name play, I think you got to rate the Bengals' offensive line higher than the Chiefs. If they don't play, I give it the edge to the Chiefs' offensive line. We agree on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I would give the edge if Kappa doesn't play to the Chiefs. Although Orlando Brown has to figure out how to block somebody. Like that dude lets through too many people.
Yeah.
Been doing it all year.
He's got Hubbard and Hendrickson. He better find out how to block real quick.
I wouldn't sign him to an extension. I know we talked about this early when we were breaking down. I don't think he's played well enough. And I said that early.
There's going to be other tackles available, or you got to trade up and take a tackle.
Yeah.
Defensive line, I give to the Chiefs because Jones, I mean, look.
And Frank Clark is playing out of his mind, right? He's playing really well.
Clark's playing better. The linebacking core, I think it's a draw.
Yeah.
I think it's a draw. And then the secondary, I give to the Bengals.
Yeah. I would give the secondary to the Bengals. Not by much. And I couldn't remember, in the last time they played, I don't think the Chiefs had McDuffie back yet. I think McDuffie was still hurt.
I think the defenses are even. I give the secondary to the Bengals. I give the defensive line to the Chiefs. I think it's a wash at linebacker. Offensively, Chiefs got the tight end, but the Bengals got the skill guys and the running back. And then the offensive line, it's Chiefs right now. If Kappa and what's his name play, and I give the kicker to the Bengals.
Yeah, it's true.
So even if you give Mahomes the edge, which, look, they're dead even, especially if Mahomes isn't 100%, I can see why everybody's on Cincinnati because they've beat them 3 times in a row. They're playing better football. I mean, let's be honest, Chop. The Chiefs are very, very fortunate to get out of the Jaguar game alive. Now, in turn,
I think if Mahomes doesn't go down, that means it's a little different.
No, look, they maybe I'd buy that, but that's not what happened. So I can't buy it. But in turn, Cincinnati was lucky to get out of the Baltimore game alive.
Very lucky.
Okay, so they could have easily lost to Baltimore. And look, the Chiefs, one play in that game, if Lawrence, it's funny. You never know how a play early on is going to determine a game. That pick he had early on when they were driving, that really, when you look back, that and the Chad Henne drive.
That late pick by Watson, that one hand grab, I still don't know how he got that.
So those picks, and then that Chad Henne drive, look, you're only talking about 3 or 4 plays, which you are every game. I'll be honest, if Kittle doesn't make that helmet bobbling catch, I mean, as bad as Dak played, Diggs has to be held responsible for the 2 plays he didn't make. He should have leveled Kittle there and say just throws his shoulder without looking at him, and then he had an interception to stop the drive, and it went through his hands. So it's just funny how when you think back to a game, there's 1 or 2 plays that make all the difference in the world, man.
Absolutely.
So
the game of inches.
I think both games are great games. Look, to all my winners out there, We are going to have a winning record, either 2-1 or 3-0 in the NFL. But they're both going to be Maylock smashers. So either get drunk, eat a lot of food, and go sit on the shitter with your Mylanta, whatever you got to do. But you're going to be sweating these out. These are not going to be easy wins.
No. I think they're going to be both great games. Do you have a way you're leaning in this Chiefs-Bengals game?
Yeah, I've already made my 3 plays. I'm not changing them unless the ticket count gets way out of hand. I'm confident in all 3. I'm not letting anything change that other than if the ticket count changes.
Yeah.
I know which way I'm going. I don't want to be talked out of it. I understand I'm struggling the past 2 weeks. I don't give a damn. All right, I was 249 going into tonight. We're 245 games over. I advertise I'm going to give y'all 150. We're at 245. I'm not going, just because I'm having a bad 2 weeks, I am not going to change what I've been doing since April 1st that's made me successful. And I'm damn sure not going to change what I've been doing the last 13 years to be at least 150 over for 13 years in a row. I know how this works. I know how these weeks work. I know how months work. I know how losing streaks are. I know how winning streaks are. I'm not going to let anybody change my opinion on which way on the 3 bets I'm placing for the NFL this weekend.
Sure.
Not
Do you think it's a field goal game?
Not anybody, unless God speaks to me.
I'm not saying a word. Do you think it's a field goal game?
What?
Bengals Chiefs.
I think both games are within a possession.
Yeah.
And I think at least one of the dogs are going to win outright.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And your dogs right now, obviously, Niners, Chiefs. Think the Niners beat the Eagles? Maybe? Yeah. I think it's going to be a great game. It's
nothing is going to surprise me in either one of these games.
Yeah.
The only thing that would surprise me is if one of the games are a blowout by 14 plus points. That would surprise me. Other than that, nothing's going to surprise me in these 2 games. No outcome, the way the outcome happens, some crazy fluke play at the end. Nothing is going to surprise me.
Yep. Right. So looking forward, who do you want your Super Bowl matchup to be? Like if you could pick out of these 4 teams, what would be your best Super Bowl matchup that you could handpick?
Well, I'm going to give you 2 because I think
didn't ask you to.
I know because I would like to see both of them evenly. Like there's not one there's not one matchup I want to see more than the other. I would like to see Cincinnati Bengals or against the Niners part 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think if that happens, I think Burrow gets his title and the Bengals, they lost with Ken Anderson. They lost with Boomer Esiason. Both times Montana had to come back to rip their hearts out. I think this would be the chance. It's just a classic old Super Bowl matchup, like the 3rd time they would be in the Super Bowl. And I think Burrow would lift the Lombardi. I think it'd be a really cool storyline. The fact that it's in Arizona, you get a lot of San Francisco fans. But I would also like to see Kansas City, Philly.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the Andy Reid Bowl. I really would. Now,
the Kelsey Brothers Super Bowl.
In the Kelsey Brothers. Now, if that happened, obviously I would love to see the Chiefs win it. But I think that's a bad matchup for the Chiefs. I just do.
Yeah.
I think a better matchup for the Chiefs, as dumb as this is, I think the best matchup for the Chiefs is to play the Niners. Yeah. And I think the best matchup for the Bengals is to play the Eagles. But if you're the Eagles, I think you want to play the Chiefs. And if you're the Niners, I don't know who you want to play because I don't think they win if the Niners.
Why do you think
Sunday,
the Eagles are a bad matchup for the Chiefs? I'm interested.
Because their defense can't slow down Philly. And I think it's going to put way too much pressure on Pat Mahomes. And even though San Francisco's defense is great, Philly's secondary is amazing.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs don't have, they have Kelsey, but the Chiefs not having Tyreek Hill.
They don't have a number one receiver.
Yeah. Not having Tyreek Hill has not mattered for the Chiefs.
Mm-mm.
They haven't missed a beat. Now is when I'm afraid they miss him.
Yeah.
The AFC title game, and if they get by the Bengals, they're going to miss him in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
because Super Bowls, let me finish.
Okay.
Super Bowls, I mean, you just look at all of them. It always takes a stud making a play. And then about 1 out of every 6, you'll have a no-name make a play.
Yep.
A Tyreek Hill, right?
Mm-hmm.
A Pitta, the tight end for the Ravens that was good for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? But most of the time, it's one of your studs. Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, Larry Fitzgerald making the big catch. Santonio Holmes at the time was a Pro Bowler, made the big catch in the end zone, him and Roethlisberger there. Peyton Manning throwing it to Demaryius Thomas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Von Miller making superstars get paid for championship games and Super Bowls, right? Like, and I think the Chiefs' offense has actually looked better without Tyreek Hill.
More well-rounded for sure.
But this is where Tyreek Hill's absence will show up for them.
Yeah.
And it's not, and I don't think it shows up if they play San Francisco, because I don't think San Francisco puts a lot of points on the board from here on out.
Yeah.
But if they play Philly, look, Philly's going to score 30 or they're going to score at least 27 on Kansas City if they were to match up. So now you're putting a lot of pressure on Pat Mahomes, and you're saying, okay, that elite secondary of Philly, along with those pass rushers on the defensive line. I mean, for God's sakes, Ndamukong Suh is coming off the bench in rotation on the defensive line. He's not even a starter. You're just putting, and you just talked about Orlando Brown, you're just putting a lot of pressure on Mahomes. For Mahomes to beat the Eagles would have to be Mahomes' greatest performance of his career. I know that sounds like a crazy statement, but Mahomes would have to throw for like almost 500 yards and 5 touchdowns to win that game.
Do you think it's that high scoring?
Because Andy Reid refuses to run the ball. And he would be even more hard-headed playing against his old team.
Yeah.
And I think it would bite him. I think Philly would come out 34-31, 38-34 and get them.
Yeah, and without Hill, you don't have that.
Not because Philly has the better quarterback, because Jalen Hurts can't hold Mahomes. I just think Philly's defense they wouldn't let Kelsey run around wide open all day long. I mean,
there's been a lot of teams that have tried for him not to.
Yeah, but his brother's in that other locker room, and his brother knows him.
Yeah.
Like, I just think unless the Chiefs really committed to, we're going to run the ball 30 times and make this look like how the Chiefs normally don't look, I think you're just asking, and not saying Mahomes can't pull it off, because I do think he's the best quarterback. I think he's just a smidge above Burrow. I think Burrow's right on his heels. But you just to basically look your quarterback in the eyes and say, look, you got to give me at least 4 tubs and 425 and no picks. I think that's a big ask in a Super Bowl. A big ask.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, because they don't have that, like, I do think the Chiefs' offense has looked better this year. But they don't have that clear number one, right? They toss it around to everybody. You got MVS, you got Schuster, you got Justin Watson. Obviously, Kelsey's a monster. They've tried to do some things with Sky Moore. Maybe next year he'll look a little better. He's had flashes. Hardman is the only one you have that can really take the top off a defense, kind of like Hill. Their speed Hill's faster, but Hardman's close. But Hardman hasn't been able to stay healthy. Like, I don't even know if he plays this week. You may get him for a Super Bowl. Obviously, that's 2 weeks if you get there. You may have him healthy. And that does give you that deep, let's throw it deep, take the top off the defense, and that may help them in a game if they came up against Philly. But it's still not like having Tyreek. Now, going back to that, though, and you said it too, do I think Mahomes could throw for 425 yards and 4 touchdowns? Yeah, he probably could, but it is a big ask, especially in a Super Bowl. Now, if the Chiefs come out this week and they're balanced and they run the football and they run it effectively, maybe that gets Andy Reid to take that sort of game plan into the Super Bowl. So it would be interesting. Obviously, we don't want to look past this week. I think both these games are going to be fantastic. If I had to pick right now, I think the Chiefs and the Eagles win. I think both home teams win. And then a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, I think, would be very interesting. Could I see the Niners and the Bengals winning? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and say that those teams don't have a shot. I think it's a toss-up at this point. But I would say...
Shout out to our dad. He told me, he said, don't you screw this up for people. It's going to be Bengals-Eagles. So I'm not letting Dad influence me, but I just thought I'd throw that out.
Yeah, he's on the Bengals train, too. I don't get it.
So he said Bengals-Eagles. So.
He says Bengals-Eagles. I say Chiefs-Eagles. I think
Man,
Chiefs
just I haven't heard a soul pick the San Francisco 49ers yet.
Yeah.
Not a soul.
I haven't heard many people pick the Chiefs either, which is also, it's just a weird, it's been a weird week leading up to these title games, right? I thought the 49ers would get a little more love. I never thought the Chiefs would flip and be the underdog. I think that's an interesting spot for them to play. I think that gives them a little bulletin board material, which sometimes does help, right? Lights a fire and get you to play at a different level. I think that defense is going to come out hungry. You got Jones, Clark up front. You got a good young secondary, but they've played very well. And their linebackers have played well. I mean, Karlaftis is a monster, and so is Nick Bolton, both those guys. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm really, really looking forward to both these games. I think we're in for two really, really good ones. I think we're going to be spoiled this weekend with football for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a good weekend for sure.
All right. Well, we'll move to a little John's betting corner. What sweet, sweet nuggets do you got for us tonight?
Not a whole lot of nuggets, man. It's been rough, right? I think I've said it. I've owned it. But again, guys, I can't change. I mean, we're 245 games over since April 1st. I get it. You guys, some of you didn't even start sign up till, when was our first sign up, Chop? September, October?
Late September, early October, somewhere.
Yeah, so you guys haven't gotten the full gist of it, but you've gotten enough of it if you've been October. Whether you track it or not, right? So, it just goes through phases like that. There's nights like this. Last Friday we were 4-0. Tonight we were 0-4. 6-6 coming into tonight. It's not a great week. It stinks. I know you pay for winners, but you gotta look at it and say, I'm paying over the long haul. And what am I trying to accomplish? If you hop off every time there's a losing streak, and again, I just take it back to when I was a real loser. I would always chase. When things were bad, I'd send it in, and I'd chase. And I even did that tonight, right? I mean, with the Pelicans now, I lost $34.70 tonight, $3,470. Okay, so I feel your pain, right? And
I don't think you chased though. I mean, I think those were all
they were, but
well thought through plays.
I put more. They were very well thought through plays, and I would have bet them. I'd bet them again tomorrow. But I chased and put money management is so important, and when you're struggling to pull back, right? So again, tomorrow, if you're a $200 bettor, make it $150. If you're a $100 bettor, take it down to $75, right? Yeah. Not enough to make a huge difference, right? But just a little bit, okay, let's see if John comes out of this the next couple of days. And that's what, when I sent out text today, I really want to have conversations with guys and really look, picking winners is hard. Only about 10, 15% of the world can truly do it on a consistent basis like I do it. Yep. But the other part is money management and having a plan. And I want to make sure that we capitalize. I mean, this is going to sound really bad, and I don't mean it how it's going to sound. I just don't know any other way to word it, guys. But you guys, I run everything off of a calendar year. April 1st through March 31st. Okay?
Yep.
I get it. You may have signed up this week. Today may have been the first day I reached out to give you free plays. You don't know me. You don't know my track record. You don't know what I'm capable of, and I more than understand that.
Yep.
And it's not fair to compare y'all to the Dirty Dozen, as I call them, the guys that have been with me for well over a decade. But I have to. Okay?
Yep.
I advertise I'm going to be at least 150 games over. I'm 245. My work ethic, how I study and all that has not changed. But I've did my job.
Yeah.
I've did my job. And you might say, I just signed up last week. What do you mean you did your job? You suck. I'm sorry you signed up at the wrong time. Okay?
Yeah.
But that's just how it is. All right? So you say, man, this guy's a real butthole. That's why our conversations are going to be so important. Because, okay, let's try to pick up as many winners as we can.
Yep.
You know, this last 5 days of January and February and have a great tournament. But I'm more concerned with let's get your bankroll right starting April 1st. And let's go through the whole year. Right? Because, and you might say, oh, year. Oh, man, look, you're going to blow that money on McDonald's or Hooker or buying your kids something they don't need anyway.
God, you always got to go so dark.
I'm just being honest.
Christ.
People blow money left and right. How do I know? I spent $16 today at Starbucks tonight because
but your average person's not out there with hookers, man. A car, you could have been like, you know, the movies.
You know what I mean?
Anything. Mine goes straight to a hooker.
I mean, people blow money all day long. I blow money at Starbucks because I have a 7-year-old that's addicted to hot chocolate. She thinks she's so dramatic. She thinks she needs a hot chocolate every morning to wake her up.
Well, she's dramatic. We know her daddy is, so we don't think anything of it.
But look, and if you were sitting in that spot, you would understand, like, you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. Like, to be 245 games over, which after juice really equates to about 220 over, right?
Yeah.
You're never going to hear that again in your life.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm just as hungry to keep building on that. And I'm just as hungry to, starting this April 1st, I got to hit 250 next year.
Yeah.
Right. So the work ethic and the passion and the drive or being lackadaisical, that's never going to happen. I'm always going to grind and work hard. But guys, it's still sports gambling. Stuff happens.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to go with the same things that got me to 249 before tonight and now 245 are the same things that win over time. But again, it's just like the stock market. It's just more emphasized because when that money comes out of your check for your 401k, you don't even see it.
Mm-mm.
You don't even miss it. You don't even know what people are doing with your money.
No, I have no idea.
You get a statement every quarter. And you
they've
barely
been ugly
look,
lately.
And most people barely even look at the damn thing.
Yeah, I made the mistake of looking at mine a couple of weeks ago.
So
it's not pretty.
Most people don't even look at it, right? The difference is you got money coming out every month and you see it because it's something you're passionate about. You're passionate about sports and you think you know sports. And you do know sports, guys. Y'all know a lot. Y'all watch it. You don't know how to gamble and make money. You might say, well, you don't either. Well, I'm 245. I'm sorry that the past 2 weeks have sucked. It doesn't take away the fact I'm 245 over. So you got one of two choices. I would ask myself, how much money have you made in your life gambling on sports? And it's really easy. Go to your DraftKings, FanDuel, Offshore, Heritage, 5 Dimes, and just pull up and it'll show you your account history and how many thousands you've probably lost. And then look at that and say, okay, if this guy's not a sales guy and he really is true to what he's saying because he takes the time out to text a gazillion guys and answer their text back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not just take money. Then let me ride this guy out. Okay, because I just caught him at the tail end of football or at the middle of football.
Yep.
I missed over half the football season. I missed the baseball season. I missed the NHL playoffs. I missed the NBA playoffs. And let's just see what happens.
Yep.
Okay? So when I call you, again, some people get called tomorrow on Thursday. Well, y'all get the podcast on Thursday. This is Wednesday night tonight. Some of y'all get called Friday. Some will get called Saturday. Some might not get called till next Monday or Tuesday. But have an open mind what you want to accomplish. And again, if you don't want to follow me, all right, do this then. Follow all my picks and fade them. Bet against me on every pick. If you think I suck so bad, go the other way on all my picks. See what happens.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, guys, I'm not, I'm a machine, but I'm not perfect. Right?
Yeah.
The New York Yankees or the Los Angeles Dodgers or the Houston Astros are going to win 100, 110 games a year. They're also going to lose 50 or 60.
Yep.
Like, that's just the grind of day in and day out, right? So nothing's in my head. I'm not overthinking things. God, I'm watching this Memphis Golden State game, and I was toying back and forth. Memphis has played horrible at Golden State. It's 3.5 the right play. It's been a 2-point game the whole game. Yeah, I'll be kicking myself if Memphis covers it. I'll be like, why in the world did I take the Pelicans? Well, the T-Wolves sucked. The Pelicans got Ingram back tonight, and the Pelicans had lost 4 in a row, and they've been one of the best teams in the NBA all year long. I thought after that tough loss last night to Denver, this was a good spot getting Ingram back. They fell apart in the second half, right?
Yeah, we've had some
Wasn't that the
tough
handicapping
beats
was
too,
off?
man.
If the Knights don't blow it, we have a winning night last night.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, tonight I can't explain Texas Tech. I can't explain Chattanooga, right? But it is what it is. So we'll pick up. We'll go on about it tomorrow. And all I can do is just keep trying to pick winners. That's really not trying to sound bland about it. I own the record. I own the losses. But I'm also not going to act like I'm not 245 games over 500. And I'm sorry if y'all haven't been a part of that. If you want to be a part of it, make sure you're ready to go April 1st. Let's try to pick up some winners now through March Madness. But the reality of the situation is I'm going to pick way more winners than losers, right? I get it. I know how services abuse people. I used to use services 15, 16, 17, 18 years ago, and all they did was pick as bad as I did because it's all marketing and a money grab scheme. And it's getting worse and worse because the industry is getting more heightened. Yep. All right. You have hot chicks on TV that ain't never watched a game in their life. Dude, they're not handicapping games. No. They're just throwing games up and getting lucky. Right. So look, I know what I'm doing. I'm sorry it's been a rough week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm sorry the NFL playoffs hadn't worked out. But, I mean, God, we're still like 56 games over 500 in football. I mean, in NFL. Just NFL. Forget college, just NFL. I mean, it is what it is. So, you know what I mean? Follow me or fade me, but you're going to win a lot of money if you follow me.
Agreed.
You got anything to add to that? I mean, you're the one that always tries to do the HR cleanup after I burn the place down.
No, I don't think you said anything super inappropriate throughout that rant. I think you kept it pretty clean. So thank you for that. Don't screw it up now. Whatever you got to say, just let it go. Drift with it. All right. You good? You got anything else?
No, I was just looking at something here. Hold on, I'm scrolling. So, I just want to speak to three things really.
Mm-hmm.
3 of the heaviest bet games tonight was Indiana laying the points at Minnesota. They failed to cover. They only won by 4. Alabama was 14.5 point favorites. They only won by 3 at home to Mississippi State. Auburn was a 3-point favorite, the heaviest bet game. Texas A&M went in there and beat them by 16. Just be thankful that I didn't give out St. John's, who I liked, that lost by 28. Yeah. Be thankful I didn't give out Central Florida plus 10 that lost by 11 to Houston. And just be thankful I didn't give out, Georgia plus 17.5, who lost by 29. See, it could have been a whole lot worse.
It could have been.
At least I had the discipline not to give out 7 plays. Again, the board's just not my friend right now. Tomorrow might be different. Yeah. But
eventually we'll roll out of it. It comes back around.
I just need one winning day. You know what I mean? Just one.
All right. Well, with that, I think that's the show, everybody. I hope you all have a great weekend. Enjoy the conference championship games. I know I will. I'll be hanging out at Arrowhead. Hopefully, watching
holding the
Chiefs,
flag one hand,
Chiefs victory.
Mahomes' balls in the other.
Shut up. But I hope you all have a great rest of your week, great weekend. Going to be an awesome Saturday for college basketball. Obviously, you got football this weekend, hockey still going on. So a great weekend. I hope you all enjoy. Thank you so much for supporting us with this podcast. We really enjoy bringing it to you every week. So I hope you enjoy listening. But thank you all so much. Have a great one, and we'll be back on Monday with a new episode.
Love you, my winners. Hang in there, fellas and ladies.